to call the meeting to order. Ms. Burns, roll call, please.
Mr. Sullivan?
Here.
Mr. Feather?
Here.
Mr. Allen?
Here. Present.
Mrs. Bowman?
Here.
Ms. Boyle?
Here.
Ms. Hellebuck?
Present.
Mr. Kovitz?
Here.
Mr. Marrington?
Here.
Mr. Parentano?
Here.
The quorum is present.
Thank you. All rise to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The board met in executive session this evening prior to this meeting to discuss matters of employment, labor relations, and matters related to litigation. In addition, the board met in executive session on April 11th to review and discuss matters of employment. The district mission statement. The Neshaminy community builds futures by empowering each child to become a productive citizen and a lifelong learner. Mrs. Burns, any announcements?
No announcements.
Mr. Jones, superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to spring. I think we're there finally. We'd like to congratulate 3 Neshaminy High School musicians who were selected to join Pennsylvania All-State Ensembles. Jared Mellis and Joseph Stanford, All-State Wind Ensemble, and Schuler Jansen, All-State Concert Band. They all performed just this past weekend, Pennsylvania Music Educators Association Annual Conference. Congratulations. The Neshaminy High School lacrosse team is being spotlighted because they took some time on a Saturday to go out to the Woods Academy, the Woods School, and teach some new skills to the residents out there, learn about teamwork, friendly competition, and good sportsmanship and building confidence. We look forward to visiting them again soon, and just a real nice community effort on the part of our lacrosse team. Foreign Language International Dinner, an annual event here, occurred earlier this month. World Language Club at Neshaminy High School held their annual international dinner. Students and their families contributing main dishes and desserts. All were able to enjoy the night. The Neshaminy High School Mini-Thon, once again, a great success this year, $11,500, and those funds are being donated to 4 Diamonds Foundation this year. It was a 6-hour event, just happened a week ago Saturday. The Harlem Wizards event took place, 2nd annual Harlem Wizards Neshaminy Education Foundation event, nearly 1,000 people filling the high school gymnasium, and thank you to all the support to the NEF, the various organizations that helped them make that a success. The Carl Sandburg SAD program, Students Against Destructive Decisions Club, advised by Terry Martian, received a warm thank you letter from Army Combat Engineer Captain Laura Youngert, who's stationed in Iraq. The students recently made up 8 nice care packages, which were able to be distributed by the captain to her fellow soldiers. And again, just looking to show some of these connections, not just to our local community, but broader. Just the other weekend, a couple Fridays ago, we were able to induct into the Neshaminy Sports Hall of Fame a whole list of honorees, ranging from the class of 1983 up through 2008 in the full spectrum of sports. We congratulate everybody who joined our list of Hall of Fame inductees. Future Business Leaders of America out of the high school had a phenomenal showing. 38 high school FBLA members attended the state leadership competition back earlier in this month, a multi-day competition. One of our teams, Neshaminy's High School's entrepreneurship team, Tom Marachi, Alyssa McGurlin, and Stephen Mueller, took first place, and they're going to be heading to Baltimore, Maryland in June. That's a national competition between students from across the United States, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands and Guam, and so we wish them good luck as they move on. I want to point out that there's a link in the superintendent's report to some valuable information from the Pennsylvania School Boards Association, facts and figures across the state of Pennsylvania. It's very informative. You may want to click on that link and take a look.
I want to thank you for that, Joe. I forgot to mention that to you. I'm glad you picked that up. Thank you.
It's really very well done. We'll be using some of the information in our budget presentation this year, but you'll find all of the information there very informative. If you're interested in seeing just across the state how things compare, And then I have two additions I'd like to talk to you about this evening, special recognition. Our music program, for the second year in a row, has been inducted as a 2018 Best Community for Music Education. This is from the National Association of Music Merchants. This was after my report was done, so I just want to congratulate our music program across the district, K to 12. We talk about it a lot right here, just how exemplary our teachers are, the students, the performance. Actually, my first point was about some of our students performing at the state level, and we could do that every month in terms of music programs. So congratulations to all involved. And then lastly, we were informed that two of our videos by Chris Stanley, Peace March at Hoover Elementary Schools and the Neshaminy School District, the big video, kind of giving a synopsis of all the good that happens here at Neshaminy, both received, they were winners in the Pennsylvania School Public Relations Association 2017 Excellence in Education Communications Contest. That's a lot to say that Chris Stanley does really good work, and it's not just me saying it, it's somebody else saying it too. We say it here often. Chris does work oftentimes in a very short turnaround that looks beyond professional. The work that he does really helps accentuate the good that's happening across the district, so we congratulate him, and we're really glad that someone outside the school is seeing that work and has stamped it as exemplary. So congratulations, Chris Stanley. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Our presentation tonight is from Stalker and Associates and Earl J. Stalker III, it looks like we'll be presenting. So, Mr. Stalker.
Thank you very much. Take the podium. Thanks, Brody. Thank you. Just turn the microphone on. Hit the button to turn the microphone. It's on now? Oh, okay, fine. I'd like to introduce my son. He's also named Earl Stalker, my son. We're right down the street in Newtown. First time I came here, electronics didn't work. Second time it worked well, and now I'm working myself. I've learned a lot the last few times. True. The main reason I'm here tonight is, as many of you know, we were asked to look at the Neshaminy High School, or Neshaminy School District, their medical program, and compare it against and with the consortium. Our recommendation last time was it was better to leave the consortium, but we could not come up with a recommendation at that time. We suggested to go out on the marketplace, rebid it, beat up a few people, and ask them what they can do to, let's say, enhance their offering. We're happy to say that that approach worked. There's some additional, let's say, added value, not just dollars and cents, but added value put into the bidding process for the Neshaminy School District. What we're trying to say is, well, we will say there's a recommendation that we'll be offering in a few minutes, but let us go over what we have found. The companies that we offered, or we went to, and asked for them to, let's say, respond to a request for proposal or an RFP, were the Aetna, Independence Blue Cross, Loomis, which is a third-party administrator that is not an insurance company, it handles claims, and they're associated with Cigna, and the last was United Healthcare. We felt we had to go to the leading, let's say, providers of administration and healthcare in the greater Delaware Valley, so that there's certain things that you would want. One of them is that there's so many moving parts that we wanted to make sure the company or organization was big enough to handle all the moving parts, and we found that they were. On top of that, and most importantly, we wanted to make sure that, oops, okay, I'll get it shortly. Most of all, oops, didn't work. There. Most of all, and most importantly, we wanted to make sure that no matter where we went or where we recommended, that your people could have the existing benefits with no interruption of benefits, change of value, or whatever. They all agreed that they could do it. And researching and actually going out to other organizations that they've done similar type of work all validated this assumption that they gave us, or this opinion that they gave us, that there was no interruption of benefits. Second thing is, we were very, and as you see the lower part of it, we were very concerned about the prescription, the CVS, and how it would be transferred and what would happen, the deductibles, co-insurance, and so forth. That is what we put in the RFP, and they all had to get back and verify it and guarantee. We'll go into a little bit later on, but they all have, and we'll get in a little bit more detail. Based on the RFP that we received for you and the evaluation, we're recommending going to IBC. There's a lot of different reasons to go to oh, here we go again. That's why my son's always here, pushes me, tells me what to do. Based on the information received from the RFPs, going through the many different factors, and we'll get into them in a minute, IBC, I'm not going to say by hands down, but IBC was very strongly ahead of anybody else. And it's with a firm recommendation that you would adopt their programs. What we're also saying is that one of the factors that we have to look at is the discounts with IBC and compared to others. And this is in addition to the prescription program going over without a problem, the medical program going over without a problem, no change in benefits, no change in any costing factor to the employees. IBC at this area, this time in the Greater Delaware Valley, as the slide says, has about a 66% discount, meaning that the school districts pay less and employees, the employees, or whoever is using the program, their spouses, participants, pay less in co-pays and deductibles. Also around here in the Greater Delaware Valley, the Aetna, which is very strong, they have about a 64% discount. Cigna and U.S. Healthcare have a 62% discount. So when you look at the discounts, what you would be paying, what the school district would be paying, and so forth, the largest discounts are currently with IBC. And again, not to take anybody's word for it, because we normally don't, because they don't give you all the facts. We went to St. Mary's, we checked out with them, and yes, IBC does have the largest discount. That being said, we went to 3 stop-loss carriers. The stop-loss carrier is like the reinsurance carrier that pays things above a certain dollar amount. These 3 carriers all said IBC is about 2 to 3%. Deeper discounts, meaning less you pay, less the district pays for the same, let's say, usage or benefits from Aetna to IBC. So we verified that, we checked in the networks, and so forth. The other area that we really liked is the software package. Now, it doesn't seem a lot to a lot of people, but when you're self-funded or you have a self-funded approach, because before with IBC years ago, you were insured. Then you went to the consortium, which was a hybrid of some semi-insured to whatever. Now you're going self-funded, and that was our recommendation. Self-funded, you have to keep track of what is being paid, where it's being paid, and how it's being paid. And IBC, over the last 2 to 3 years, have come up with a good package. We trace, Stark & Associates works with other large employers, school districts, municipalities. We trace claims. We know the claims that are large. We know when they should be paid or not paid. Before, you had a problem keeping track of that. And we're with the stop-loss carrier with a list saying, when are you going to pay this one? What do you need from here? What do you need over there? That system they have will help track what is being done. We like it. We've used it. We're using it now. We check with like Neshaminy or other school districts every week what it is and how it is. So ultimately, it goes into, let's say, the process of what your benefits cost, and it helps you overall. The employees, one of the biggest problems that we run into as a consulting firm, if you go from carrier A to carrier B, or administrative firm A to administrative firm B, there's a term called a disruption report. I'm getting away from this, I'm sorry. A disruption report or a geo access report. We had them run, and what that means is how many of your doctors, your let's say your family's doctors are in the network. How many are out of network? We found that IBC and Aetna's networks are very, very similar, very, very close. In some of the areas, it's 100%. Nowhere along the line do we see anything less than 1 or 2 doctors out, and they're specialties. And we all know We all know that the doctors in Philadelphia, some of the specialties in Philadelphia are in and out of network. So it could be in today and out tomorrow, but for the most part, 99 to 100% of the doctors are in the network. So none of your employees or yourselves using it should have a problem. In addition to that, again, one of the key factors is what's it going to cost for administrative services. Best way to describe things in a self-funded plan, and kind of what you were aware with Blue Cross, but Blue Cross really didn't take you the full, let's say the full length of what you could have had. When you have a self-funded plan, there's two main factors. Number one, claims, and number two, administration. And we know what the claims are because they're going to be the same as you currently have. If a person goes in for this, they can still go in for that. So we can track it over a long period of time. We tracked it 3 to 5 years. We have a good idea of what the different claims will be coming in at. So the other part is, what's the administration cost? And as we're trying to show here on the sheet, we try to capsulize where we are. First of all the carriers are able to match what you currently have. I was on the phone with the Aetna yesterday, with CVS and IBC today. They're all coordinating to have the same exact benefits. They're taking it out to what was happened 6 months ago, what's happening 3 months ago, what's happening now, and into the future. They looked at some weird combinations of discounts and how it's being paid, and we were in the conversation for about an hour today, just on the script, about an hour and a half yesterday on everything else. There should not be any problems whatsoever. So the medical and RX administration, can they do it? The answer is yes. Setup fees, all but U.S. Healthcare waived it. Medical cost and RX cost, the fees, this is where we went back to the carriers with your board's approval, Mr. Jones' help. We went back to them, and people like the Aetna dropped it, or organizations like the Aetna dropped it down to about $42. IBC has dropped it down to $39 here. So in both of these, they have lowered the administrative cost. Even though under Loomis it says $25, but that's just for a portion of it. When you look down at PEPM, that's per employee per month. Aetna's at $42, IBC is at $39.90, Loomis is at $48, and there's $49. When you look at the administrative cost, Aetna is around $34,400 per month. I wish it were only $34. IBC was almost $32,000. Loomis was $38,000, and U.S. Healthcare was almost $40,000. So we looked at this. The benefits are the same for the medical. The prescription from CVS to IBC are the same. Discounts are better with IBC than they are with anyone else at this point, than anyone else. The discounts that the networks provide are the same, and the administrative costs are lower with IBC. And we start to add all those little pieces together. You get a few dollars here, a few dollars here. It starts to really add up in the overall administration. So these are some of the reasons that when we put our report together, we recommend using IBC. I had a limited time. Okay.
Any questions from the board?
Mr. Stalker, the rates always change. I mean, we've been with carriers over the years, and, 1 year they're great, next year they're not. Going in this direction, are we going to have the flexibility to constantly look at carriers as rates fluctuate? Not a problem. Everybody heard my question.
Hit the button there.
Okay, the question was about the carriers. You have to, when you're self-funded, you have to change the mindset. You're not really using a carrier. You're using an administrative firm. It's no different than an accounting firm. And every couple years, we put it out to bid. Only you're interested in really two things. Can they pay the claim?
actually, a couple things. Can you pay the claim, and what's the charge for paying the claim? The answer is yes. With you, Neshaminy, no question that we know what it is for the next 3 years. That's not going to change. And you could tell a year from now, 6 months from now, whatever, put it out to bid. We know what the administration costs are now, and frankly, it's going to go down. Okay, not going to go up.
And on your spreadsheet here, comparing the carriers, you note that it's based upon 800 participants. Is that the accurate amount of participants we will have in the plan? I mean, not to the single digit, but we're
Yes.
not 200 short. so
No,
it's gonna
gosh, no.
change.
If you're
Okay.
short, you're maybe 10.
Okay.
And I use the average as you go
That's fine.
through on that.
I just wanted to
Same
know
way with the
where the
average
ballpark.
cost. It goes up and down based on that. The big advantage you have over IBC before and the consortium now is you paid a premium. You paid $1 that they said you have to do. Now you pay, as I said a minute ago, claims and administration. And your claims, for the most part, we've done a study at, and we reported last time, have been level.
How about our stop loss?
Stop loss, you have a year contract, it goes out to bid. Right now is either 5 or 6 independent stop loss carrier, just like you do umbrella policies at home, homeowners and auto. And frankly, they're, Highmark or Pittsburgh IBC is one of them out there. We have Sun Life, we have US Fire. There's a lot of companies out there. It's a commercial market. And if for some reason one loses, one has a bad year, if they don't get rid of the bad claims, they don't get the business. You move to somebody else. You have no obligation more than 1 year.
And that additional coverage is in your big quote to us?
Not in the summary, but in the other one, yes.
All right. We're leaving the consortium. Are we going to owe them money, or are they going to owe us money when we leave?
There's 2 things that are going on. Number one, the consortium has pools of money. As of March 15th, there's money in there, and I'm going to use the word, I don't want to use the word owe, but you have money in there. And the money can be used to pay claims. It can be used to pay other, let's say, administrative costs. So it'll slowly be coming down. We received something from the consortium through Mrs. Hinterberger. Here she is, there's Terry, the other day saying, I think it's 16 months for some things and 18 months for the other. But the overall answer is yes, you'll be taking it down. Okay?
But we will not owe the consortium, 18 months from now, we won't owe them for any claims runoff, correct?
No, not for, maybe some administration, because they're still paying some claims, but that should be going off and going to IBC. And that you have an option to say who you want to pay. We're going to, again, you can put it out and say, IBC, how much you going to charge, and the consortium, what are you going to charge, and take the best price to do that.
Okay. Okay, that brings us to the public comment section of the meeting. When you come up, please identify yourself, say where you live, your occupation. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Mr. Burns?
Mr. Rodas?
Imagine that.
Good evening. I am Steve Rodas. I live in the Villages of Flowers Mill. And it really, my smiling or not, hasn't entered into anything in the past. I don't see why it would now. I have a couple of questions. First 2 things are tied in, really. I was going to ask, in 2 months we have to approve finally the budget. So I'd like to know where we are now with the budget. And tied into that, what's going to happen as a result of these insurance agreements? Are we paying less overall for everything? All of the health benefits and insurances that cover all of our employees in total? You know, I understand this part about the administration of it, but I'd like to know we're paying, and that will obviously drop to the bottom line to help out the rest of the taxpayers. So if I could get an answer to that somehow, that would be great. My second point is really has to do with the Mass Neshaminy, which is on the agenda. So my point to the Mass Neshaminy is that the agenda says that the Mass Neshaminy application started at the March 27th meeting. Now, my recollection is that that was treated as a new application. And I believe in all new applications, you have to have current signatures and a bunch of other forms and documents that have to be attached to the charter application. So, but the agenda also indicates that you're getting in touch with the Charter Appeal Board for some kind of guidance. And my understanding of the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania's ruling is that this is a kind of issue which the Charter Appeal Board has no jurisdiction over. So I'd like to know what's the difference, what the Charter Application Board would indicate in a formal response if they have no jurisdiction over the whole thing to begin with. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Connie Edgemount?
Hi, my name is Connie Esmont. This is Sue Monreal. I live in Langhorne. I am a Neshaminy full-time bus aide. I also am a director of a preschool. I'm here because I did send a letter to the board and to Mr. Jones about the summer runs for bus aides. We got an email from Neshaminy saying that our summer runs were going to be posted and we had to apply through Source for Teachers. The posting for this would be a rate of $9.50 per hour, which is half of what we currently make. Also, these jobs for the summer are 4 to 5 hours per day for 4 weeks, which is approximately 80 hours for the entire summer. So at $9.50 an hour for 80 hours the entire summer is not very convenient, because we're coming in 4 times a day, driving back and forth for $9.50 an hour. In previous years, drivers and aides were paid their current rate. I've been a school bus aide for the special needs students at Neshaminy for 8 years. I know each student on my bus. I know what their needs are based on my experience and communication with their parents and caregivers. Special needs students are the most vulnerable in Neshaminy, and we need to require a dedicated, knowledgeable aide to get them to and from their educational experience. With only a few bus aide jobs available for the summer pool of experienced applicants with a rate of $9.50 an hour, your pickings will be very slim. These students deserve a better chance of success with the discipline what decision implies. Please consider your decision to use inexperienced and lower paid individuals to provide aids to those students who need the most this summer. Sue and I have been working at Neshaminy and doing our bus aid jobs, and we do it because we know our students and we enjoy our jobs and we want to be there to take the best care of them on the bus. We're not glorified babysitters. We do a lot of work for them. We have students with seizures. We have students who are diabetic. We have students in wheelchairs. If you do not know how to hook up a wheelchair, it's a problem. And these outsourced aides do not get training. They don't know how to hook up a wheelchair. So we implore you to please reconsider our 80-hour a summer job, because we like what we do, we love our kids, and we like to keep our jobs. Thank you.
Deb Parker?
Hi, good evening. Deborah Harker, Middletown Township. I came tonight again in favor of the MAST application, and when I went home to try to review some of the meeting minutes from the board meeting held on March 27th, I do see that you're going to be approving the minutes tonight. In section 108 of the regular meeting, I actually spoke during that comment period. There were two speakers, Mr. Spazzato and Mr. Alfonso, that spoke in favor of the charter application. And during the comment period, I approached the podium and asked, since the stenographer was already taking transcription, if their comments could be added into the official records for the charter application. My comment doesn't appear in the meeting minutes, so I was hoping that when you approve the meeting minutes tonight, if they could be amended to include my comment. I also was hoping I could get some sort of a confirmation. I tried to find the transcription of the MAST hearing, and I couldn't find those records anywhere because I wanted to confirm that everything spoken during the first public comment that relates to MAST was included. There was also a speaker in the second public comment period that spoke about our deficiencies in technology that I asked to be entered into the official records. So I was hoping that someone could please confirm if those were indeed entered into the records. That's pretty much all I've got. Thank you.
That brings us to item 2.01, the MAST Neshaminy hearing. I'd like to make a motion, whereas the hearing of the MAST Neshaminy application for a charter started at the March 27, 2018 meeting of the Board of Directors, and whereas the meeting was continued to this April 24, 2018 meeting, and whereas the Neshaminy School District and MAST Neshaminy participated in a telephone conference with the solicitor of the Pennsylvania Charter Appeal Board on April 10, 2018, now, therefore, it be resolved that the continuation of the hearing for the MAST Neshaminy Charter application be postponed until the regular meeting of the Board of School Directors on May 22nd, 2018. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Any questions, comments, observations? Motion passes 9-0.
She was asking about those minutes. I don't know if you want to discuss
Yeah.
that.
Let's approve, on the routine matters, I'm going to pull out 3.01, the minutes, and if everyone's okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve 3.02, Treasurer's Report, 3.03, Check, Register, and Procurement Card Purchases, 3.04, Budget Transfers, 3.05, Bids, 3.06, Investments, 3.07, Exonerations. Can I get a second?
I second.
Second by Mr. Feather. All in favor?
I got a question. You got to ask for questions first.
Yeah, that's good. Good point.
Do we need to get a confirmation from our solicitor on Mrs. Harker's questions on the minutes, especially pertaining where?
We pulled that out. We pulled that out.
We're not, we
pulled
pulled
that
it?
out, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. We have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Item 3.01, minutes. Resolved that Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached minutes for their March 27, 2018 Public School Board meeting and the April 10, 2018 Public Work Session. Can I get a second?
Second.
Questions, comments, observations?
Do we need to get a clarification from our solicitor, the remarks that Mrs. Harker made at the podium? Specifically, he can address all our remarks, but I'm specifically concerned about, can a resident ask that another resident's remarks be included in the record? I would like to hear from our solicitor.
It went off, I apologize. As stated at the hearing on March 27th, the two gentlemen who spoke during the first round of public comment, those those comments were incorporated into the record because they were unavailable for the hearing. They had to go home or they had a prior obligation. But with respect to any of the other comments that were made during the second round of public comment after the hearing was continued, those were not incorporated into the record because, obviously those people had the chance to speak during the hearing portion or the public comment portion for the hearing.
Do we need to discuss the amendment that Ms. Harker referenced, that she asked in the beginning part of the meeting? She asked for that to be added to the minutes.
You can discuss it.
Yeah, she had approached the podium and requested that the two individuals who spoke in the first half who couldn't stay for the meeting, she requested that they be included in the official transcript.
I think Mr. Tarente indicated that they were.
Right, but they're not in the official
It's not,
minutes.
her request for that is not
Not
in the
in the
official
minutes.
minutes. In our minutes, right.
Well, I think they can only be in one or the other, I would think. If
She walked up during that period and
Oh.
asked the question,
Oh,
correct? So is her question in the official minutes, I think is her question. Can we amend?
These minutes to include that request.
do we need a separate motion for that, or?
Need a second motion?
Just be a motion to amend.
Okay.
Amend the minutes.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to reread 3.01 minutes, okay? Resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the attached minutes for the March 27th, 2018 minutes, which one was it? As amended, and the April 10th, 2018 public work session. Can I get a second? Second. Questions, comments, or observations? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. That brings us to Personnel Administrative, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Puritano.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. 4.01, be it resolved that the Neshaminy School Board Directors hereby approves the attached minutes for March 27th, 2018. Wait a second, I'm on the wrong thing. I apologize. I didn't switch off. You know, we got this problem with scrolling down the screen, don't we, Irene? We got to remember to scroll. 4.01 furlough, whereas the superintendent desires to reorganize the administrative structure of the district by eliminating 2 curriculum supervisor positions and creating the position of Director of Elementary Education and the position of Director of Secondary Education. And whereas the superintendent recommends the elimination of these 2 curriculum supervisor positions as a reorganization which will conform to the standards of organization required by law, and that the district is required to retain only necessary staff, and as a result of the reorganization, these positions are no longer needed, and whereas, as a result of this reorganization, the individuals who are currently in the 2 afforded curriculum supervisor positions will be suspended pursuant to Section 1124 of the School Code, and whereas, as required by Section 1124, the superintendent seeks concurrence by the Board of School Directors for these administrative changes. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of School Directors hereby concurs with the superintendent's recommendation, authorizes the elimination of 2 curriculum supervisors positions, and directs the superintendent to take appropriate actions to implement the reorganization, including notifying employees affected by the reorganization of their suspension and notify the Department of Education. Can I get a second?
Second. Questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0.
Section 4.02 appointments. Be it resolved that the Neshaminy School Board of Directors hereby approves the following appointments of administrative staff. Do I need to read the names? Okay. Michelle Burkholder, Director of Elementary Education, Curriculum and Instruction. Ryan Staub, Principal, Neshaminy High School. May I have a second?
Second.
questions or comments? Owen?
I'd just like to add that it's this board's pleasure and my personal pleasure to welcome these two individuals to Neshaminy and hope they have great success here. I'm sorry. I forgot.
It's all right. You're excited.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 9-0.
Welcome. Great to have you. Could you
I
could you
know,
please
I-
stand up and be recognized?
I'll do it. Welcome, and I also like to welcome our new Director of Secondary Education, Dr. McGee is here tonight in attendance also. Brings us to personnel certificated. I'd like to make a motion to pass 5.01 retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 5.02 tenure awards, 5.03 leaves of absence, 5.04 revised leaves of absence, 5.05 revised returns and leaves, 5.06 appointments, 5.07 co-curricular appointments, 5.08 ancillary appointments. That's it. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes 9-0. Mrs. Hollenbeck.
I'd like to make a motion to approve 6.01 retirements, resignations, end of assignments, 6.02 leaves of absence, 6.03 co-curricular resignations, 6.04 revised returns from leave, 6.05 appointments, and 6.06 ancillary appointments.
Can I get a second? Somebody seconded, I'm not sure. Cindy? Okay. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Business operations.
Before I start reading these, do we have a recommendation to pull any of these out? Am I reading them all separately, lumping them together?
I will pull 7.01 and 7.02 out. Yeah.
7.01 and 7.02, the rest of them I can,
Yep.
okay. So I'd like to make a motion to approve 7.03 life and disability policies, 7.04 transfer of entity, 7.05 lease amendment addendum with BCIU for Lower Southampton School, 7.06 national contract participation authorization, 7.07 acceptance of donation, and 7.08 Sunday facility usage.
Can I get a second? Ms. Boyle, the second. Any questions or comments?
I would just like to say that the acceptance of the donation is from Gabe Fox, a Herbert Hoover parent who's donating medical supplies to the school. So
Thank
he
you.
should be recognized for that.
Yeah, Gabe is a neighbor of mine from way back in Pendel. I want to thank him specifically for that. So very generous. Thank you.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 9-0.
I'd like to make a motion for 7.01 Board Committee Facilities and Planning. Whereas the current Board Operations Committee has oversight for a large variety of the non-educational items that are the responsibility of the Board of School Directors, and whereas there is a desire by the committee to have the board spend more focused attention on matters related to school district facilities, now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors approves the formation of a new standing committee, Facilities and Planning.
Can I get a second? Second. Mr. Piratano, I think beat you. Mr. Kobitz, I'm sorry. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0.
And last but not least, 7.02 Healthcare and Prescription Plans. Whereas the board recently approved Stalker and Associates as the district's consultant for healthcare and prescription plans, and whereas Stalker and Associates solicited formal requests for proposals to insurance companies that would match the current policy coverage offered to the employees of the district, and whereas Stalker and Associates has analyzed the various proposals and recommended a third-party administrator that will support the district's new self-funded program. Now therefore be it resolved that the Neshaminy Board of School Directors hereby approves the recommendation of Stalker and Associates to contract with Independence Blue Cross as the third-party administrator of the district's self-funded medical plans and prescription plans effective June 1st, 2018.
Can I get a second? Second by Mr. Allen. Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 9-0. Brings us to item 8.01, other board business, update on the Bucks County Technical High School Joint Board Report. Mr. Allen?
Need this. I would like to draw your attention to the fact there are 3 items. Okay, so what am I updating on the fact that there is an offer? After many, many months of negotiation, we've come up with I'll call it a tentative agreement that we need the board to look over for approval. I will tell you that if you look at your notes, the changes are highlighted in yellow. They are minor as far as Neshaminy is concerned. In effect, they haven't changed very much for us. In fact, we picked up a few extra seats. In fact, I'll even tell you that because that's good news. We've managed to bump up the incoming class. We hope to get 425 for overall, and that gives us more seats. And I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
May I add a comment to that? Has there been any movement on the discussion of the subject we talked about last meeting about getting a more broader application process for the children that are entering? As I mentioned last meeting, Mr. Jones and I have had this discussion. We feel there's a certain segment of children that might be being overlooked, and I was just wondering, how we can move forward to see if we can make sure that, kids are able to, get the opportunity. I've gotten a few complaints this year, for kids, of course, that didn't get in, that, felt the, application process wasn't taking enough emphasis on other areas. I don't know if Mr. Jones can expand upon that.
Yeah, I can say that there has been discussion among that board to broaden the selection process. And I said that's also why I was mentioning, I think it's good news. We have more seats available.
And then at the joint board meeting last night, the director, Dr. Paskey, did reference the fact that conversation you're talking about is being had right now at the superintendent's level. We've had 2 different months of conversation about it, 2 different meetings now, successive months, and I expect that in the June meeting that we have, that we'll come up with a recommendation for the joint board to consider, and Dr. Paskey said to the board members last night that would need to be a policy change. And so my guess would be that we'd be looking at some language that would bring about what you're talking about through policy change there in time for next year's lottery process.
So it's not going to affect the 18-19 kids, it would be for the 19-20 kids?
Correct.
Correct, okay. All right, thank you. And I appreciate you taking that matter up and doing what you've done with that. Thank you.
John, you said there will be up to 425 seats. How many seats approximately, do you know?
What it's come down to, I can say it has a lot to do with the work that the budget committee did. But you can't hear me? Really? Seriously? you know, I said, we've gone back and forth. There were things that compromises that, of course, had to be made. We're talking about 6 different school districts. Everyone has their own different issues with their own budget to deal with. Some of the compromise was, without pointing anyone out, someone agreed to take on a little more of the debt if we share some of give more little seats available, and that kind of helped all of us get a few more seats. So the overall, as I said, we bumped up from about 84 to 95. Doesn't sound like a lot, but as Mr. Bertano has pointed out, there's sometimes an issue with children wanting to get into a seat, kids who I will say desperately want to go to the tech school, and there simply isn't room for them. Kind of have to wait until there's some attrition, somebody who may have actually lucked into a seat and then turned out, I don't really want to be an auto mechanic, and there's usually someone waiting in the wings that wants to be. I'm a mechanic too.
Well, I guess if they're a boiler mechanic, it's okay then.
Correct. I thought that was implied. All right.
Thank you. That brings us to the second public comment period. Same rules apply. Name, where you live, your occupation, limited to 3 minutes. Okay.
It's a Sixers game. It already started.
Yeah.
It's very slow in the beginning.
That brings us to the board comment section.
It's a Sixers game. The same.
I would like to make a board comment. I would like to again thank Dr. Hancock for her years of service with us. You will be missed. And Dr. McGee, in your role as principal, you will be missed, but you will be doing great things, I'm sure, in your new position. And I'd like to welcome Mr. Staub to the high school principal position and Ms. Burkholder to the elementary education position. Welcome. Looking forward to great things.
Cindy.
It's habit. It's habit. Just following the Katie with a C, Katie Turner from Neshaminy Senior. She did make it into the top 10. So congratulations. And I'm really asking the Neshaminy community to reach out and support her during the voting. She's representing us very well. She's so spunky and fun, and I love her, and I hope everybody can pull together and we see her go very far in this competition. So congratulations, Katie. And congratulations to Michelle Burkholder and Ryan Staub in your new positions. I'm really excited that you have come to Neshaminy. I'm looking forward to see what great things you bring to our district. Wanted to thank Dr. McGee. I'm sure you'll be working very closely with Ryan in his new position as a high school principal. And thank you, Gloria, for all your years of service. Thank you.
Would this be the proper time that I can welcome them?
Any other board comment?
I want to welcome Mr. Staub and Ms. Burkholder. It's excellent choices, I think, that we've been able to make. And I hope they have great success in their roles here, and the Neshaminy children are to benefit of that. Dr. McGee, I'm glad he's staying in the district, even though I know a lot of people are going to have some culture shock when they realize that he's no longer going to be at the high school, but he will still be with Neshaminy. And my dearest appreciation to Dr. Hancock. I can't say enough about how I think you've influenced this district in a positive way, and always putting the children of this district first above everything else. And you've been a great asset to the district. You've been a great asset to this board through the years and some of the trials and tribulations that we've run through. So I can't say enough about your service here. Otherwise, I don't know if the solicitor can address anything from Mr. Rodas on his question about mast. I don't want him to address anything that shouldn't be addressed. And I just would ask you to, if you can make comments regarding that to satisfy his question.
Just thanks, Steve. The hearing hasn't been concluded yet, so I'd rather not make any type of comment regarding Mr. Rodas's comments. Thanks.
I'd like to just add my comments, my welcome welcome to the district. Looking forward to working with you. Dr. McGee, can't begin to tell you how thrilled I am that you're still here. And I double up with that. I've already had people say, well, wait a minute, that means he's leaving the high school. Yes, but he's not leaving our district. Focus on that, please. Gloria, I cannot, from day one that I sat here and all the things we were trying to accomplish, and the first phone call or email I sent you, I can't begin to tell you how appreciative I was that you responded right away. We seemed to be on the same page. We understood each other, what we were trying to accomplish, and I'm personally really going to miss you. Thank you very much, and thank you.
Again, just to mirror my colleagues, Dr. Hancock, it's been a short period of time, but memorable nonetheless. And what they said. So there you go. To the new folks, welcome to the family. We're glad to have you here. And lastly, only because this is the last time you're going to hear it from me for the rest of the school year. This past week was the STEAM Expo, and it went off spectacularly. They expanded some new things. There was a CSI crime lab. Chris Stanley I was very jealous of Chris. He was flying the new drone, and I really wanted a shot at it, but alas, I do not have the FAA license required yet, but we'll see what we can do. But it was a great time, very well attended. I think at this point, being 4 years out, I think nothing gives me more satisfaction than to see the look on the kids' faces as they're exploring. The exhibits that are there are all hands-on. The people that are presenting, between the teachers, the students, the community partners, when I say students, the high school students from the science club, they're excited about sharing this with the younger kids, and the younger kids just eat this stuff up. It's amazing having those inquisitive minds really going for science, technology, engineering, art, and math. It gets me really pumped. So I look forward to next year. So thank you.
Unfortunately, I was looking forward to that event. I'm glad you thought to mention it, really. Yeah, I look forward to that event every year. That's like, that's where I live, right in there. But unfortunately, I was laid up with more or less was the flu. So I was with you in spirit. I will get there next year.
Guess it's
I just wanted to thank Dr. Hancock. As the chair of the Ed Development Committee, I can tell you that you will be sorely missed. Dr. McGee, congratulations on your new position, and to our new people, welcome to the family.
to follow up on what everyone else has said. Mr. Staub, welcome to the district. Ms. Burkhalter, welcome back. Dr. McGee, thank God you're staying. Dr. Hancock, I'd like to thank you to it because I know my first 6 months on the board was a very, very trying time for me, and you're very supportive during that period. And to the stalkers, good presentation. I do have to comment on one thing. You should never, ever change accountants. That's all I have. Thanks.
Okay. I'm going to answer Mr. Rodis' questions. On April 3rd, we had a Business Operations Committee meeting, and we did review our budget updates. And we will have another Business Operations Committee meeting, which we will continue to review the budget on May 9th. And the 9th. Yeah. 9th. Yeah.
Most of us are on the 9th.
And there will be a savings with the insurance from where we're at now from the consortium.
Can I just direct one question to the chair of the business committee? Is she there? Hey, how you doing? I was just wondering, because of this May 9th meeting coming up, I wasn't at the other meeting, but I sent an email to you discussing, looking at some of these proposals to save off some tax increases. Are we going to have those suggested scenarios presented to us so we can make an observation of whether or not we want to go in that direction or not?
Short answer, yes.
Thank you very much.
You had asked me to look specifically at the main recommendation of the PE program, and I think we can go from there. We can build from there if Moore's interested.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple things in that email.
Yeah,
Yes.
but what I was interested in is, as well, is more than just the statistical analysis of it, is what it's going to look like. And for that, my suggestion was that we get some of our high school administrators involved in that, so we can want to go this way. I don't only want to know what type of financial
No, we're
impact
gonna-
it is, how it's going to look once it's fitted in, if we were to go that direction.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
what we're doing?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, it didn't suffice. I'm good.
That being said,
He's good.
yeah, he's good. That means, make a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.